we are going to go over where the lesson plans are located. So the all lessons overview, so that we understand the lesson structure. We're also going to share where the attachments are and how you view those attachments, or if you're not going to attach those attachments for your parents or teachers to see, how you can exclude them from the daily summary. We're also going to talk about lesson planning and take a look at the calendar that actually allows you to lay out all 52 weeks of your age groups. So for those of you, we've had some customers that planned out their entire year for all age groups. And then we have some customers that are doing it weekly, monthly, or by quarter. So we'll take a look at that. We'll look at the rooms and how we can best filter those rooms. One of my favorite features is once you create a lesson plan for an age group, you can just copy it and put it into all the other age groups. So you don't have to do it 5 or 6 or 7 times, especially if you have 5 pre-K4 classrooms. Joel's going to show you how easy and quick it is to just copy it and create those lesson plans for those other classrooms. We're also going to talk about accessing lessons from that mobile application. Okay, so how do we share that with parents and what does that look like? How do we modify lesson plans and that mobile lesson planning view? And then of course, we'll talk a little bit more about finding support in that great resources area. There's a lot of good features and support in there. So make sure you ask questions about that, as well as our material lists. And then of course, how you can get ongoing support as you're moving through the curriculum throughout the duration of your time with Procare and Learning Beyond. So just a little bit about the curriculum development team. So Learning Beyond, their team was developed by leading national early learning educators, owners, directors, and teachers with decades of combined experience. And we really came together for one mission: to provide affordable, high quality, equity-focused curriculum solutions for today's teachers. We wanted to make it simple. We wanted to eliminate all the lesson planning time that we're having to take to create lessons. We don't have time anymore in this industry, especially with the staffing crisis that we have going on. So I always say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So what we think of when we think of curriculum is we think of the lady holding all the binders, right? We think of all the binders, all the paper, all the photocopying, all the training that has to go into understanding how to use that. And we think of a lot of work. So we wanted to take all of that work off of your teachers' plates and put everything into one ecosystem. So right there within your Procare. So the lady that's holding that tablet, your teachers are already in the classroom using the tablets with Procare. So now we've got the curriculum in there for them right away, easy to use. It's going to provide everything that they're going to need to be successful. And then it's also going to help with your retention rates. If we can tell our teachers bye-bye to 3 to 5 hours a week of lesson planning that we don't have time for, and hello to an easy to use solution that's locked and loaded for them, they're going to stay because it's going to make their jobs easier. And then we will share in the resources section where our comprehensive teacher's guide is, and then of course our training and our videos that we have as well embedded into the product. So just to review exactly what you have subscribed to, what you're getting access to. So you're getting access to 52 weeks of lesson plans, starting at infant, going all the way up to pre-kindergarten. So that's 5 age groups. We have over 4,000 daily and weekly activities that are tied to those age groups. Learning Beyond is research-based, it's classroom tested and teacher approved. We also have lesson plans and daily activities that are presented in a developmental progression. And then all of our learning areas include STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and we start at infant with STEAM. We have language and literacy, physical development, music and movement, cognitive and interactive reading. The development team that wrote the content, they were very intentional because they wanted to include SEL, which is social emotional, and then learning support to differentiate that instruction in every daily activity. Okay, so we have social emotional, not separate, tied out in a separate area, but every daily activity for every age group is going to speak to that social emotional component, which is so important. And then, as I said, we have training built in with tips, tools teachers can use in real time. So very exciting. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing, and Joel is going to start to go through the embedded curriculum in your Procare ecosystem. Again, at any point in time that you might have questions, or you might just say, hey, Joel, can you show me how you got there one more time? Please, please, please shout that out or put that in the chat. All right, Joel, take it away.
That's right. Well, thanks, Corinne. Thank you for again this opportunity. Again, my name is Joel. It's nice to meet, I guess, Zoom meet everybody. I am one of the designers here in Procare, and I love to show you guys what we have been doing in terms of integrating what Corinne is saying, pretty much all of these rich and really nice and very helpful resources for you from LBP, and how you can use it right from Procare. So I believe for most of us here, we're already using Procare. We've been there before. Maybe some of you have been using the lesson planning, some of you might not. So it's also a good refresher just in case you haven't. So if you're looking at the screen, hopefully you can't see my screen right now. I am just going to launch, as you can see, our Procare software. Most of you are familiar with this login. And as Corinne said as well, if you have any questions, just put them on the chat, interrupt me anytime. I am more than happy to stop and go through. Also, if I am too fast, just let me know, because I usually talk too fast. So let's see what we can do in the next 15 minutes. So again, let's take a look at the software that we have in front of us. So this is the Procare landing page. As you can see, we are in our dashboard. So to access all of these new curriculum or new lesson plans or lessons that you have from LVP, all we have to do is go down to our learning. And right here, you can see that we jump right into the weekly plan. I am going to talk about this later, but for now, what I do want to show you guys is all the lessons that we've imported or integrated already into LBP. As you can see, this is a repository of all your lessons coming in from LBP. We have about 4,056 of them in there, so that is a lot. So imagine this being your binder, but the good thing about this is that aside from flipping through, thousands of pages, I guess, in this scenario, if not more, is that this is now, you're able to actually go and search and filter and select and digitally look at all of these items. Just to kind of give you an idea, if you look at it through here, you'll see that the title is there. It even gives you within the title the actual week where this lesson is going to be applied to. And also these labels over here actually tells you what age group they are appropriate for. Now, again, it might be a little bit difficult to go through each one. So the good thing about this is that, as I mentioned earlier, is that we do have this option to search and filter. So for example, here, if you just want to look for, let's say, hey, you know what, I just want to look for all the lessons in week number 1, you can just type in, week 1, or usually you could just type in 01. We do recommend, if you're looking for any lesson that is in the single digit, we recommend adding a 0 to it so that it actually aligns with what you see over there. So as you can see, all of my week 1 lessons is just right in front of me. So it's been cut down to 78 lessons. Now, if you want to trim it a little bit more, this filter over here, once you give that a click and you head over to your labels, we've labeled these curriculums already based on their age group. So let's say, for example, I'm just looking for one for my older toddler. Once I give that a click and go and apply it, now I'm filtering through week 1. And as you can see, these are all for older toddlers. So that just makes it easier for you to search and filter through all the lessons that you have. So without further ado, I'm going to go jump in and look at one of these lessons so we can see how they're constructed and how can you help your teachers start teaching these lessons to your student. But before I jump there, does anybody have any question? Are we okay with the all lessons section here?
Joel, and you might be showing it in the weekly planner, but I know that we have just from sound bites from time that it takes less than 2 minutes to plan a whole week for an age group. Are you able to show how you could do that?
Absolutely, yes. So once I go into one of these lessons, I'm going to show you how we could actually set these lesson plans.
Perfect.
So we're going to show you how quickly I could fill up a whole lesson plan in the next few seconds. So let's, without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into one of these lessons so we can see how they're built. So let's just open up this introduction to Play-Doh. So once I open that up, as you can see, this is a template that Procare has been using, but now we filled it up with the information that came from LBP. So you got your week number, your date, your title here, your lesson category, as Corinne mentioned earlier. They have different categories here. This one is particularly a STEAM type of lesson. The description is here, so it tells your teacher what they're going to be doing. The outcome is essentially how they're going to be doing it. So this is something that you could actually fill out. You could update it. You could add your own details in there if you want to. The other part here that's pretty cool is that you could also add existing milestones and standards. So if you've already done this on your Procare side in terms of like tracking milestones and standards for your children, you could go ahead and literally just go select them from this section, hit submit, and as you can see, they'll be tagged. And this will be, you're able to share this with your parents once they receive this lesson. So I'm going to take it out for now because we do not want that. Another thing that's important here that we want to look at is this section called do not include in daily activity summary. So if by any chance you don't want your parents to be seeing any of these lessons on their email, you could go into the lesson that you don't want to share and check this section, and this will not be shared with parents. And if you want to just keep it internal, but by default it is currently off, meaning that it will be shared to the parents if the teacher does that. A few other things here, you could add your URLs, but what I do want to focus is these two important links here. These are, I wouldn't say the bread and butter, but these are really important and they're super helpful for your teachers. So the first one here that I'm going to open up is this daily or weekly summary. In this case, for my older toddlers, this is a daily summary that tells them tells the parent, or the parent receives this and tells them what their child is doing on that day. Gives them a high overview of what the lessons are and what the categories are. Again, we do recommend, and as Corinne I think mentioned, is that these lessons are scaffolded. You could decide to choose other lessons from a different week if you want to. However, if you are going to be using this and sharing these documents to parents, we do recommend that you follow through the actual week by week and day by day plan that LPP has set up for you, so that this would actually make sense to your parents. The other part here, which is I think is really, really great, is this section here, or this PDF document that allows your teacher to actually view in detail the lesson that they're going to be teaching. So all the details are here in terms of their objectives and even the step-by-step details of how they're going to teach this and how they're going to set it up, and even to the point of the materials. So all the material information will be included in this PDF document. They could go through the procedures, and as Corinne mentioned earlier, there's the learning support option or field here that they could go through so that they can understand, or they could accommodate this lesson based on, let's say, for example, there are children who is a little bit further in the class, or children who are not that advanced in their classes. They could, in a way, modify this lesson for them. Aside from that, there is your section here for social emotional development that just tells them the why they are doing this and what this is helping their children to achieve. So, and again, this is a PDF document. So if you want to download it, save it on your computer, save it on your iPad or your tablets, or even print it right from your printer, you can do that right from here, because this is an attachment. Now, lastly, one other thing is that if you do not want this to be shared to your parents, like these specific attachments, there is this option right here. As you can see, this one is blue and this one is gray. If you do not want to share it, all you have to do is just unclick it. And that means that this particular PDF will not be shared to parents. But however, if you do want your parents to see them, you could turn them on for both of them if you do want to do that. And aside from that, if you want to add your own attachment, you could actually do that by just clicking on this add attached file, and you could add an extra document for yourself. So with that being said, I'm going to not save this because I don't want to edit this lesson in particular. I do want to mention as well is that by making modifications or by even deleting this lesson, which by the way, if you are a non-admin or a teacher is not a non-admin, they're not going to be able to delete a purchased curriculum. So if you're thinking like, oh, what if a teacher goes in here and deletes my lesson? You cannot do that. So we are actually removing this delete button for all LBP purchased curriculum. And again, once you do the modification here, it does update every single teacher who's using this particular lesson. So just make sure that when you do that, it does tell you here that it will affect everybody. Make sure that you're okay with that. So I'm just going to say no and cancel that. So Lastly, before I leave here, is that if you do want to add your own lesson, you could create your own lesson still. So you could just click on here, fill up another lesson if 4,000 is not enough for you. Or if, for example, you are a school who have like supplementary lessons that you want to add aside from LBP, you could still use your own lesson by creating your own. So with that being said, I am going to jump over to the weekly plan, which is where we're going to be learning how to actually add these lessons to your day-to-day or your week-to-week. So right here, once you go into the weekly plan, you can see that right now I am currently in week 16 to 22. And we are seeing, in this case, we're seeing every single room with lessons. This one has a lot because it's pretty much for every room. So what we do recommend, if you are going to be doing this, is to not add any lessons while you're in the all room section. We recommend that you go into the particular room where you want to add your lesson. So in this case, for example, I'm going to go and add lessons over to my older toddler. So I'm going to click that. And as you can see, I've already pre-filled all 3 lessons from the past 3 days. What I'm going to show you is that I'm going to go and add a lesson for Thursday. So I'm going to go click on add a lesson. And as you can see, all my lessons are here. One thing that I know is that since we are following LBP, for example, I know that right now we are currently in week 40. And later on, I'm going to show you a calendar where it actually will help you guide so you know what week you're going to be in. So right now, I know I'm in week 40. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in the number 40. And as you can see, all my week 40 lessons are there. But I want to drill down and make sure that I am looking only for lessons that is for my older toddlers. So I'm going to click on older toddler and I'm going to hit apply. And just like that, all my lessons just for that week, for week 40, for my toddlers will show up. If I want to go into detail, because I don't really want to see all these other lessons here, I can go and specifically go to day 4, because I know it's Thursday, and here's all my lesson for that day. So all I have to do is click on select, 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 and hit choose. And right there, I've already added 4 lessons for that day. I'm going to do it again for Friday so that you can see how quick it is. So again, I go click on add lesson. I type in 40 because that's my week. And I'm going to go ahead and choose my older toddler and apply. And I'm going to look for lesson or day number 5 because that is my Friday. And just like that, there we go. We got our lessons filled for the whole week. And that took me like literally less than a minute to do that. So imagine doing that for every week. It'll probably take you about 2 minutes to do 1 week. And for a whole month, it's probably less than 8 to 5 minutes of creating a whole lesson plan for the whole week. Now, if you have, as Corinne mentioned again earlier, is that if you have, let's say, for example, more than 1 older toddler classes and you want to copy the exact same lesson plan over to them, you don't have to redo this over again. All you have to do is go click here, which is called our menu or more action section. And this third option there is an option to copy this particular lesson plan. So I'm going to copy that. And as you can see, it says that I'm copying it from this week, from this room, and I'm just going to put it on the same week for another room. So let's say, for example, I'm going to add it to sharks because apparently sharks is the same as older toddlers. So I'm going to submit that. And as you can see, it is now added. And on the top, as you can see, sharks now has exactly the same lesson plan as my older toddlers. So that's how easy it is to copy a weekly lesson from one room that's the same age group over to another room for on the same age group. If you want to remove one, you can just literally click on this X button right here. And what this does is that it does not delete the lesson; it just removes it off of that week. So you're never gonna accidentally delete a lesson off of your list. So that is how easy it is. Is there any questions in terms of adding lessons or updating them over to your weekly plan? I think we're good.
I don't see anything coming in the chat, Joel. So
Right?
that's
No
good.
chat. Don't worry, I don't bite. I will answer. I hope I can answer your question. But yeah, if you have any other technical questions that you have, please let me know. I am going to go over the resources section, which we believe is one of the best part of LBP because they have a rich content in terms of supporting lessons that you can use. One thing that I'm also going to do is I'm going to show you what is the teacher going to see, because it's important. As a director, you're an admin, it's probably easy for you to start doing this, but what does my teacher see? How do they see this? Can they access those PDFs? The answer is yes, they could. So what I'm going to do quickly before we jump into the resources is that I'm going to go and hide this, and I'm going to just show you what a teacher will see. So for example, I'm a teacher. I'm just going to show you a quick version of the iPad over here. And I'm a teacher. And for example, I want to go ahead and start creating lessons or teaching lessons to my, my older toddler class. All I have to do is at the bottom right here, you're going to see an activity option. If I tap on that, and you've probably been familiar with this already, is that at the bottom, there is the view today's lessons. If I tap that, well, lo and behold, for today, May 19, all the lessons, the 4 lessons that that my admin had put in there is accessible from my side. So if I, for example, want to go and see what these alphabet movements are, if I tap on that, it'll give me the details the same details that I saw from the admin side, wherein, as you can see, it shows me the title, the details, the outcomes. But the important part is this part right here, where you could actually go and see the PDF, which might help you or will help you kind of go through that lesson throughout the day. So as a teacher, you could save this in your iPad. You can even print it if you have a printer. But the cool thing about this is that it is digital, so you're able to kind of close it or have access to this anytime you need. So you could do that for every single one of the lessons that's been put for your particular classroom. Now, if you want to share this to your parent, all you have to do is click on Share with Parent right here. So for example, I'm going to share this particular lesson over to Ezra. I'm going to go tap his name, click on Next, and as you can see, it'll tell us that this is the information that the parents will see. You can add more information if you want to. And earlier, since we've attached or allowed the sharing for the home connection, it will be part of that shared document as well. So I'm going to click on Share Activity, and just like that, that lesson has now been posted on Ezra's feed. And what would a parent see? Well, let's take a peek. So let's say, for example, this is the parent looking at the feed of their children. Let's say, for example, I'm just going to go and refresh it, and there's my lesson. And a parent right from their, I don't know, their office or living room can go ahead and see, oh, this is what my child learned today. If they tap on the attachment, they could go ahead and just simply open that up if they want more detail about what the children are doing during that day. So super cool, super easy in terms of connecting parents and teachers and classrooms all together. So with that being said, I'm just going to go and hide this one more time, and I'm going to show you something in here that will help both you and your teachers navigate and use LBP. So that is called our resource guide. So if up here on our menu section, if you click on this drop down, right down here, you have 2 options there. You have the LBP resources and the materials list, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. I'm going to click on this resources first, and that will take you to this repository of resources. So you got resources details here about learning beyond introduction to LBP, how to get started. You get your teacher's guide here, which is super cool. They could go through, and as a teacher, again, you could access this and read this through your iPad and allow yourself to kind of go through these training. One cool part here, if I go just, let's say, for example, I open a role of a teacher, there are some embedded videos in here. So if they don't want them just sitting down reading stuff, teachers can actually go in and just click on any of these and just watch an actual training from LBP. So pretty cool way to train teachers, to train staff without going through time kind of reading through information. But if you do read them, they're pretty awesome. I mean, they're really, really well thought of. A few other things here that we want to highlight for the additional resources. We have monthly themes that you can use for your classes. Let me just see what I can look at in there. So there you go. So you could actually see the theme that LBP is suggesting. You could download these themes. These are PDF documents. You could download them. You could print them if you want. Another thing here that's pretty cool is this curriculum plan. So I was mentioning this earlier, is that if, for example, you started at a certain week and you want to know, okay, like what lesson week am I in right now based on my starting date? Well, we created this PDF document for you that you could download, or you could just click on this icon, or sorry, this image, and it tells you, and I was mentioning earlier a while ago, since we are currently in May, and I'm currently here on this lesson, I know that I am currently in week 40. So that is the lessons that I'm going to follow using LBP. Now, if you start a little bit later or earlier, you could kind of like plus and minus the week that you have. We have some details here on how to do that. If, for example, you did not start on the same week, which I believe LBP starts on the week of the 16th of August. You could just do a plus and minus whenever you started that, or you could even create your own chart. But this is kind of like one thing that you can use to follow. You could print this and use it as a guide whenever you're setting up lessons. So that is the curriculum plan. Lastly, that I want to talk about really quickly are these materials lists. So every one of these lessons have, like not everyone, but a good amount of them have materials that you can download, or you could download or you could purchase. And as you can see, they are different for each age group. So for example, if I just click on this general one, I'm able to go into every single one of these age group and go ahead and choose a week that I want. And this will provide me the materials that I want or I need for that particular lesson or particular week. So pretty useful. Also, if you would want to purchase these materials, LBP and Procare have partnered with Lakeshore, or mainly LBP partnered with Lakeshore, to be able to provide these materials over to our teachers. So very, very streamlined, super easy to use, and they're all available again in Procare right on this drop down under the LBP resources. So I would recommend, jump in there, go through each one of these, especially for your teachers, and it will really, really help the way that they utilize LBP as well as the experience that they have for their classroom. So with that being said, I have a minute left. So I hope that that caught it. All right. Is there anything else any questions or Corinne, if anything that you would want to add?
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Joel. One thing I'll say about the materials, when the content team was putting together all of the materials, they were very intentional on the materials that they put into the curriculum. So 90% of the materials that we're going to recommend, you probably already have, or it's a very easy, quick adjustment to supplement something out. We are working to put the material list by age group per quarter. That will include all the consumables and everything that you need as well. So that is coming. And then you can really get from a budget perspective how much you would need to spend if you did need to order more materials. And then Lakeshore has also partnered with us. So they have put together classroom kits per age group per quarter. So again, that's just going to make it even more easier to get all the materials that you need and a big time saver. So I just wanted to add that part. And then Joel, one question, if I were to need support, so I had a question and I need to ask somebody from Procare, what's the best way to get in touch with Procare? Is there a chat? Is there a ticket system? I think that would be helpful to understand.
Totally, yeah. So for example, if you are, let's say, an admin and you would want to, contact support or contact Procare right here from your, platform, you could go right here. You could go to Help Center. You could give feedback. I think feedback is actually going to take you to the option, like essentially, or you could. I guess one of the fastest way to do it is that through chat here. If you already have an account, I guess an admin or an account representative, you will be able to connect with them right here. If you have any questions for teachers, would be similar as well. So as I think I showed earlier, if I just pull out my iPad, I believe that right from here you are able to go to help and support, and you're going to be able to connect through us or to us using the app as well. So either way, you could connect using the app, or you could use Procare's platform.